For all your TCG needs, make sure to check out alphatradingcardgames.com.
What's good, everybody? This is April 94, Gengar Mimikyu GX, Shadow Rider Vileplume, the deck we're going to be using. I've got a triple feature of matches today. Just going to start straight with that. Shouldn't be that surprising. Maybe some of you are surprised, but matches with this deck can be quite short. If you've experienced some of the previous ones I've uploaded with the classic, I guess, Valgar deck without Shadow Rider calyrex vmax, I wouldn't really call it a classic, but I mean, it's been a couple of years at this point. Even older if you consider the original Valgar deck. This is a powerful strategy when it works. Of course, it relies on a stage 2 Vileplume, but if you can make the combo work, Gengar becomes a deadly Pokemon. And Shadow Rider calyrex, it can be very deadly too. As we stall, opponent can't really do much, and then you can build up the psychic energies on it. Gives me an additional attacker. Plus, it's just going to give us some draw, I guess. Sacrifice other standalone consistency cards for this guy to give us draw power. And hopefully we can get the Vileplume out quickly enough. Alright, now my opponent going to open up with a Dedenne GX. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't want that, but it's a reality. I can't tell you how many times it has happened to me. Just either opening up with Tapu Lele GX, Crobat, or Dedenne. It always sucks, especially when you got like one in the deck too, and then it's just pretty much a wasted attempt, wasted spot that was in your deck for that game. And this dude finally played a card. I don't know what he was taking so long for, just to play the Battle VIP. So he's gonna get the Greninja, Radiant Greninja, and a Regidrago V. Okay, so we know what we can expect in this deck, at least. Expanded format, Regidrago. It's something people are going to want to try out, if only just to utilize cool cards like the Mega Rayquaza EX. Doing 300 damage from Roaring Skies. Can you believe that? But I mean, it was very difficult to pull off. Even back then, 5 energies. I mean, it was going to do the job on pretty much everything back then. Maybe even overkill, you could say. But now it sort of holds up. You can utilize it with Regidrago, do 300 damage. That gets the job on V-Stars. So that's why it holds up. And even Tag Team GXs, what am I saying? Okay, so gonna end, and I have a very solid start. Gonna be able to just force him to not do anything, and then next turn, with Tapu Lele GX, hopefully I'll be able to get out my Vileplume, and then it's going to be stuck for good. I know that this deck should be very item heavy, so if we can get the Vileplume out, then he's pretty much going to be screwed. And this is the reality with this sort of a Vileplume Tag Team Gengar GX deck. I've had a lot of success with it in the past. I don't think many people have tried it out. I've seen, the Gengar, the classic, I keep saying classic, the Gengar Tag Team GX deck that was used for his own deck was with Omastar, which I was never a fan of that card because your opponent can easily play around it, and it also forces you to not have any Pokemon down on the bench. It means you can't really use support Pokemon like Lele to draw cards, and it's just not good. So Korra is going to give me 7 cards. We do see the rare candy, I do see Evolution and Sense, and I get the Shadow Rider Calyrexes too. So an extremely productive turn. I basically have everything fully set up, and I don't see any way my opponent can recover from this. I mean, we're going to get a Psychic Energy 2 here, get additional draw, and I'm in a very, very advantageous position here. You can't get any better. I mean, he couldn't do anything on the previous turn. Wow, going to get an additional Vileplume, additional rare candy, so I'm going to get out basically 2. Or 2 on the next turn. I'm going to get the other one on the next turn. But just an extremely strong setup here. So, going to be doing a lot of damage with Gengar. Dedenne bites the dust, 250 damage. Whatever he promotes is going to be in trouble. And the item lock is going to hinder him. I'm going to be powering up Shadow Rider Calyrex. So even if he can't do something, Shadow Rider should pose a problem too. Just an extremely strong combo if it works. I've made my best to make the deck as consistent as possible while having some important text still. And if you can get the setup, you're golden. So he surrenders, not very surprising. As I've said, when you get that sort of setup, what is your opponent going to do? The majority of decks are very item heavy, especially in expanded, turbo based decks, item heavy decks. So this is why Vileplume puts in so much work if you can get it out, especially the combo with Gengar. Boosting Poltergeist, it's a GG all day long. But anyway, what was I saying about the Almost Dark Gengar deck? I forgot. I think I said everything I was going to say. But yeah, from the previous matches and previous matches that I've used with this deck, the deck profiles I'll show you guys, it's very similar. Very powerful early setup if you can pull it off. Alright, game number 2. We're going to open up with Gengar once again. Oddish, I got the Shadow Rider, got Tapu Lele, and got some good stuff. My opponent going to open up with another Regidrago V, another Regidrago deck. Play down the... it's not the Crystal Cave, I forgot the damn name of the card. But it's the Brooklyn Heal for the Dragons and Lightning Pokemon. They printed that card basically for the Rayquaza Fluffy deck. That unfortunately was a flop. It's sad, but a part of me almost knew that was going to happen. They made that guy, they didn't give him an additional boost. It was the same damage output as Ultra Necrozma GX, which that card was very strong for its time, but I mean, you got to do something better. That's just how power creep is. And then that guy being a stage 1 slowed things down even more. They give it the little, I guess, ability to let you dump your hand and draw cards to help your speed, but not quite enough. The thing is that you needed to get the job, get those one-hit knockouts with 3 attachments, not 4. And you couldn't quite do that with Rayquaza VMAX. Unfortunate. Even Duraludon VMAX from the same set, I would say it's a more consistent, stronger Pokemon. Just putting a lot of work in so many different ways. Checks a lot of things. It's just better, even than Rayquaza. Alright, so typical stuff, we're going to Powerhouse GX. Even if you don't force your opponent to draw to build up the Poltergeist, it's fine. The important thing is that we get a free turn. They get stuck cards, stuck items they can't use. And then if I bring out the Vileplume, those are stuck for good. So my opponent could do... he discarded and drew a few cards. I think that's what that attack does with Regidrago or something. But anyway, we're gonna use the computer search to get a rare candy. Had to discard a few valuable things there. Well, the stadium was valuable. The Oddish, we can discard one of those. But I get the rare candy and I'm just gonna end. All I need to do is see an energy and then this guy is pretty much screwed once again. Yeah, just item lock, mega quick, Poltergeist, get him boosted. You're not setting up, you have all of those stuck item cards. GG, my friend. Not really a GG, but this is the reality of TCGs and the expanded format right now. So, I mean, at least I gotta do some fair and square shit. Like, you gotta make your deck consistent and be a little bit lucky to get this Vileplume out mega quick. I mean, it's not like I'm doing some sort of Arceus Dialga Palkia GX and just getting extra prizes with this guy, which is insanity. Or some other unfair broken FTK shit with Dialga V-Star and Giratina Garchomp. FTK combo decks. This is a fair and square deck, you could say. Just utilizing some strong-ass Pokemon together. Alright. So game number 3. That ended up really quickly too. Gonna open up with Oddish this time. This is not a good opening Pokemon, of course, because it can't do anything. But if we run 4, just be prepared for it to open a lot. And I'm playing up against a Regigigas deck. Now, in the past, I'm pretty sure I've said that I wasn't impressed with this deck, but this was in the standard format. I didn't really think this deck was gonna catch on and expand it. And in expanded is definitely an entirely different animal. A lot stronger because it can use the ever broken battle compressor, a bunch of other turbo cards, and Regigigas, I thought it only let you like grab like energies and you could put them on I think himself or other Regis, but you can put them everywhere. And I think it's not even limited to, yeah, it can be any Pokemon. It doesn't have to be like one of the Regis or Regigigas. So yeah, a lot more merit than I thought. Alright, he already has a bunch of them out. He's going to use the Hisuian Heavy Ball. Missed it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. I'm not impressed by that card. I see people running it all the time, but I would never run it. I wasn't impressed when I reviewed it in the set, and I just don't think it's a good card. I mean, it gives you that LA Azelf sort of effect, and you don't have to play a Pokemon down, but it's just not really worth it. I mean, do you really have a specific card that's going to be stuck in your prizes that you gotta get, like a specific Pokemon, mind you? Anyway, gonna get out another Oddish down, and I have to get Gengar with the Fog Crystal here. So this is gonna be a somewhat painful play, but I gotta do it. It's the best sort of draw for my card, I guess. Bang for my buck reference. I gotta discard the Guzma and the Skyla. Painful discards, especially the Guzma. We only have one. But I don't think it's gonna be really big in this matchup. I mean, all of his Pokemon. I guess I could have picked on the Daniel Crobat later on. But yeah, as long as we get that set up, I shouldn't be afraid. Nothing. I shouldn't have to worry about anything against this deck. So let's get rid of the Stadium. He's most definitely going to discard the Danny and Crobat. There he goes. But I mean, now he is kind of stuck in a way. He needs to see another Stadium so he can get the Regirock down. That spot is reserved for Crobat. Get the lock attack, and then I gotta get out Vileplume. If I get Vileplume out next turn, then this guy won't be able to do much. Once again, an item-heavy deck, Regigigas. So I do see the other Skyla, excellent. So with the Incense, with the Skyla, you guys know what's coming. Vileplume once again. And, I mean, this guy, he's gonna be stuck. I mean, I'm gonna be stuck with items too. I didn't really get any Shadow Riders down yet. But, it's just, when you can get this lock, you're gonna get it. It's gonna mess up your opponent so much. And then from here, he's gonna struggle. So, just 3 item cards, but it's enough to KO these smaller Pokemon. Just doing 150 damage. Maybe 200 on the Regigigas is more than enough. Get a Psychic Energy. I mean, I don't even know if I want to end. I'm not going to get too many cards. He most definitely is stuck over there. He doesn't know what to promote. He promotes the Regidrago, but I mean, if he doesn't have all of the Regis, obviously you can't use Regigigas' ability, so no energies. He can't do shit. He gets rid of my Stadium for another Skyfield. That's good for him. Gonna go for Prof Research. And all of these cards that you get what you need. Big ass hand. Gonna have stuck cards. Played down a Stadium. Another KO from the looks of things for me. And then the question is what we're gonna do. Man, I don't really want to use Research, discard the Shadow Rider. I only got 2, and it's not like we have any sort of recovery in this deck through Stretcher and stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of things already dumped in this discard pile. Has to pass the turn. I get this Fog Crystal. Just gonna put the energy on Oddish there. So it might seem meaningless, but it's not, trust me. If I do get the Shadow Rider and Evolve, once we power up the dude up, then all of the energies, even on Oddish, matter. So KO this dude. 300 damage, yeah. Just everything is going to be dying. I get another Gengar. This is great. So even if he deals with this one, he might have to contend with another one. And yeah, this dude surrendered as well. Realized I can't do anything. I'm just too locked. So, good game. Hope you guys enjoyed these matches. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. What a